Hello, hello. Welcome everybody to day 5 of Vlogmas. Tonight we are going to be going over the Great Reset. So this was a request from the chat. If you guys don't know, the Great Reset is characterized by the phrase "build back better." So if you hear a politician using the phrase "build back better," watch out. Particularly Boris Johnson, Justin Trudeau, Biden has used it. I believe Macron has used it. I know, what's her name? The Stasi. Merkel. Merkel has used it. And it's all part of this globalist plan to reset the economy and use COVID as an excuse to basically do a communist slash feudalistic takeover of the world's economy. And the Chinese are in on this. And COVID isn't exactly working out to their plans, thankfully. Uh, but originally it was supposed to be based on climate change. And so they're kind of trying to shoehorn the two crises together, both climate change and the COVID-19 pandemic, and use that, this is a great opportunity to build back better. And it's like, no, boys, sit down. And if you've ever listened to Mr. AJ, who is banned from all internet platforms, I don't want to use this name because I don't want, um, Susan to get me into any sort of hot water, but AJ, the Turn the Frogs Gay AJ, he's been talking about this for years. And I used to think that AJ was, no, no bark. I used to think that AJ was nuts. But then the whole gay frogs thing, I actually knew was a real thing. And it came from, people dumping birth control pills and other medications um, into the sewer system. And this was making frogs hermaphrodites. And so, yeah, chemicals in the water that turned the frogs gay was true. And then he used to talk about chemtrails, which I also thought was complete BS. But then they published the papers. If you want a good source on that, Suspicious Observers on YouTube has a whole series on that. And they're Harvard published the study about this, where they are actually putting, reflective metals into the jet fuel of various airplanes to try and cut down on the amount of sunlight coming to the surface. Well, if you know anything about climate change or anything like that, having an ice age is actually worse than global warming. So cutting out the amount of sunlight that comes to the surface is a really, really bad idea. So, but, so these were, a couple of things. That's great. So these were a couple of things where I was like, okay, these stories sound fantastic and they sound like, conspiracy theories and all of that, but they're actually true. So maybe AJ knows a little bit of what he's talking about. And then I found out about, his history with investigating Bilderberg and investigating the Rothschilds. And you've got, the Bush crime family, all of that. There's a great online rap. I'll try and link it in the description afterwards. The Bush crime family talking about, just everything that they were involved in, and it's just terrible. So these guys are the global elites, and they want control of the world's economy, and they think that they can do it through COVID-19 and the 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 climate change crisis, which is complete BS. I mean, if you go by any of the hashtags like ClimateGate or ClimateGate 2, you find out that the the whole consensus of the scientists sort of things half of these people, well, actually more than half of these people, weren't even scientists. And then, half of those people weren't, if they were scientists, they weren't in environmental sciences at all. So let me find the banner. Oh, and I need to put up the other banner. But I will create a banner here. This is one of the YouTube channels that you want to follow. And they have a whole series on debunking what the climate crisis is. So and let's add banner. And so these are the guys, suspicious observers. You spell observers with a 0, and you will find them on YouTube. And that's Ben, and he has conferences every year. That he's in Colorado Springs. He was out on the East Coast for a while. I used to follow him because he did daily morning reports on space weather and things like that, which can affect my migraines, and that's how I found out about him. And then he moved to New Mexico for a while, and now he's in Colorado Springs, and they do an Observing the Frontier um, conference every year with a whole bunch of scientists, NASA people, things like that, people who are high muckety muck, very, very smart individuals who study all this stuff. So go check him out on YouTube because he is amazing and his series are amazing. And then he has, the daily morning updates and things like that. And he was the one who, turned me on to the actual Harvard studies and things like that, where they published that, yes, they are spraying the skies. So, AJ, on to something, on to something. So, but anyway, going back to the Great Reset. Yeah, it's the World Economic Forum, and it's does anybody know? I'm blanking on his name. There's Schwab, and he even sounds, like a James Bond villain. I mean, that's how cliche this guy is. But they basically want to do a globalist takeover. And one of the other things, if you want to look into this, where this started, because this started basically after 9/11 with Thomas P.M. Barnett's The Pentagon's New Map. And he figured out that if you want to change the U.S. military, if you want to do these sort of globalist aims and things like that, you start with the officers that are, just graduated OCS or anything like that, just got their ranks, and you educate them, and in 20 years, you'll have it changed the entire military. And that's basically what they did. So if you want to pick up his books, The Pentagon's New Map, and he also has another one, but The Pentagon's New Map is his main one. He also has a C-SPAN talk that's absolutely phenomenal. But Barnett is a globalist, along with the rest of these guys. And they figured out, way back when, that, China was going to be our next threat. And this, as I said, this is right after 9/11. And what it was is that, when the Soviet Union fell, the CIA and all these other government organizations were looking for their next target, because that's all they'd been doing for, over 50 years is dealing with the Soviet threat. And now, they didn't want to be out of a job. So what are they going to do? And they basically looked at China as what they call near peer competitor. But they also found out that, Wall Street was also looking at China. So both the military and Wall Street were looking at China. The military was saying, and these were the old guys, the Cold War guys, and they were saying, future of war, future of threat, future of all this other stuff. And Wall Street was saying the future of business, the future of capitalism, the future of, open markets, and that a lot of money could be made there. And the military was worried about, strengthening China and flooding all the money to the markets because they have, you know, as they predicted, spent a lot of it on their military and their military might. And China's still communist. You know, at the time, communism wasn't seen as much as a threat anymore. It was like, oh, you know, what a boomer. You're still worried about communism. You know, the Soviet Union's gone. You know, what do we have to worry about China about? Well, now we all know what we have to worry about China about. So, yeah, if you want to pick up his book or see the C-SPAN talk that was done in like 2002, 2003, around that time. Um, so he's got some really good stuff. And in China, if you want information on them, look for China Uncensored on YouTube. They do great coverage. NTD News, the Epoch Times, all of these people cover what's going on in China. And China has this, what they call One Belt, One Road. And they've been doing investment. This is why, you know, Greenland came up as an opportunity that we might want to buy Greenland, because China was looking at setting up military operations there, a base there. The Seven Dash Line, with you know, claiming all of the South China Seas and saying, oh, it's always been a part of China. Filipinos, who are they? Indonesians, who are they? No, this has always been a part of China's holdings. And so they're building artificial islands and reefs and things like that and setting up military bases. And they're also going into foreign countries like Italy and buying ports there, or leasing ports on a 99-year lease, and doing debt entrapment in Africa and things like that, where they'll give the country a major, you know, huge investment of cash. You know, we'll build you a high-speed rail. We'll rebuild the palace. You know, all of these various things, and they get these, you know, nations caught in debt traps. And what do dictators in Africa care? You know, all they want is their cushy lifestyle, and screw the peasants. So China and the globalists are, you know, part of this great reset sort of thing. So, um, yeah, crazy times. And Dan Crenshaw, bless his heart, is part of the group. He's part of the group. He is part of the World Economic Forum, their young leaders, and part of this whole globalist scheme. So I've seen him on Crowder. I thought he was fantastic. I saw his, reelection campaign ad that he was doing. I mean, that was phenomenal. Dude's a globalist. So watch out about Dan Crenshaw. And now I'm going to hop into the chat and say hi to everybody because, yeah, I kicked it off fast, hard, and let's get into this. So, hello to Survival Never Goes Out of Style. Survival's one of my mods now. Shell, hello, Shell. Logic Rex, hello, Logic. You're one of the mods now, too. This is interesting. Logic Rex said, I don't know if you remember when I was on with Angry Viking the other night. I used to run with Anonymous and was on 4chan for a while. I blame them. So Tony says, I think deleting everyone's debt would reward irresponsible people. What about the people who worked hard and have no debt? Yeah, and that's a lot of the carrots that they dangle in front of people. Oh, we're going to cancel your student loans. Oh, we're going to cancel your debt, this, that, and the other. And yeah, all it does is empower deadbeats. So it's a mess. Logic says, Pam knows about Bilderberg, feeling right at home already. Yes. I know about Bilderberg and the Rothschilds. And, you know, the funny thing is that a lot of the movers and shakers that exist in high society, we don't even know their names. Like the Motts with the sugar lobby, one of the most powerful families in the country, and nobody's heard of them. But you've heard of Mott's applesauce, right? That's the Mott's family. And yeah, you get into the sugar lobby and just how much power they have and how much money they have and everything else. And these people keep very, very quiet. And if they really have, that kind of money, the more money, enough money to make Solomon blush, that kind of money, you probably don't know their name. So, all right. Let's see. Hi, Shell. Hi, Joanne. Thank you for coming in tonight. Logic and survival have wrenches now. I went in before the stream, and if you want to be a moderator, and I know you, or you've been here for a while, just pop into the stream early and I will moderate you, because I figure that this kind of stuff is going to take off, and I'm going to need you guys' help. So Survival says Dan Crenshaw can eat a D. Yeah, he's very charismatic, and that is always very dangerous. And he's got a lot of people hoodwinked, sadly enough. So, oh my goodness. So yeah, there was that video out. Tim Pool covered it, about how you will own nothing and you will be happy. What a crock. What a crock. I mean, first off, if I don't own it, it can always be taken away from me. If I'm doing those rental cars or rental bicycles or anything else like that, you can always be denied service. We see it right now with the social credit score in China, and the type of social credit score that they're trying to push out here. I've got a guy that I was working with. He was supposed to design our website for our nonprofit, and Twitter just yeeted him, and I have no way to get in contact with him now. And it's just, these high tech, Gates is definitely a part of it. But these high tech, high powered people, Soros, the rest of them, with his Open Borders Society. Don't even get me started. But that was part of Barnett's plan, the free movement of cash, the free movement of people, and the free movement of resources, from one nation to another. But if you think about it long term, that divests wealthy nations of their wealth. It screws the local citizenry, but they don't care, because they're sitting on top of, mountains of cash like Scrooge McDuck. And it won't ever touch them. It won't ever come into their gated neighborhoods. They have the guns and the armed guards that can carry them. And those guys even shove police around, because these guys have enough money to deal with any sort of, lawsuit or anything else that's going to be thrown their way. That's why, I don't want Section 230 repealed, is because, that only adds protection to Google and Twitter and Facebook, because they have the money and the lawyers to defend themselves against this kind of crap, and it screws startups. That's why you see these, show trials that are going on, where Cruz and other people are hammering on these, Zuckerberg and all these folks, and it's a whole bunch of hot air for the masses. That's it. I'm really cynical about this stuff. So, if everybody's going to get debt forgiveness, I better get it too. Well, what if you don't have any debt? What if you were responsible? What if you, sacrificed the today's pleasures for tomorrow's outcomes? That you said, I'm not going to go party. I'm going to do what's right. Those people get screwed. It's the people that you most want to protect, because they are upstanding citizens. Those are the people that get ruined in this. And it's the deadbeats and the people who ran up, 5 credit cards and, can't pay their bills, sort of thing. Those are the people that typically, not always, but typically, buy into this kind of stuff. Hold on a second. Samson, no bark. I'm online. That's a good boy. Oh, he's such a good dog. So, all right. So Logic says, I'm coming around to agreeing with that. Wouldn't Section 230 give more power to the government over social media. No, enforcing Section 230 would give more power to the government over social media, but they want to abolish Section 230, which means that, they would be liable for content on their platform that was illegal and things like that. But the problem is that they've got the money to deal with those cases. Let's talk about a small startup, or Minds, or Parlor or something like that. They don't have that kind of money. They don't have a team of lawyers on full time. And what if they get brigaded with a whole bunch of people putting cheese pizza up on there? Well, now Parler's got a whole bunch of lawsuits that they can't afford. They're gone. They're out of business. So Twitter gets to eliminate its competition through that. I mean, it opens up the door for such abuse, where the little guys have very, very little protection. I mean, you see this all the time, in industry, where the big guys say, "Oh, we need regulation. We need this regulation. We need that regulation," and they'll claim that, "Oh, we're unsafe. You need to really regulate hairstylists because, we're unsafe." And it's, John Frieda and these other big names who had the money to lobby in the first place, and then they lobby for things that they know will screw out the little guy and keep us all as serfs, on their plantation. And it's just, the games, and the fact that the politicians don't see this stuff, or if they do see this stuff, they don't care, because they're getting the money, they're getting the kickbacks and everything like that. These career politicians, the whole game is so dirty. And you think, oh, regulation regulates a business, keeps the consumer safe. No, 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 no. You have to really read into these things. You have to read past the titles. You have to read into what they're actually asking for and think about what kind of effect that would have on the economy. So yeah, and it's the old thing. I mean, it's the same thing that Karl Marx bitched about, but he went about it the wrong way. It really is, the wealthy elites versus everybody else. And it was our founding fathers that figured out the way around that. And that is empowering, the little people, not by, centralized control, because that just further empowers the rich and the elite. What are you thinking? Yeah, Marx got it completely wrong. And our founding fathers got it completely right, which is, why they want Biden in, and why they want to corrupt the system. And they're just finding new and creative ways to do it. But it's the same old that we've been dealing with for, over 100 years now. So, oh yeah, it's no problem logic. Most people have it backwards. They don't understand, how this kind of thing works, how the gears turn, that sort of thing. And we're being sold a crock of, a crock. We're being sold a crock. Um, the media will describe it as this way or the other, and even well-meaning, patriots, well-meaning individuals out in the street will think, oh, well, this would bring these guys under heel. No, no. And if you want a good channel to follow on that, Viva Fry, he's a Canadian lawyer turned YouTuber, and he has a Sunday stream with Robert Barnes, who is a U.S. attorney. He's one of the people that drafted the cases that are going on in Georgia and things like that. He's working directly with the Trump team to help with the election fraud and things like that. So follow Robert Barnes, or Barnes_law on Twitter. And then I think he's on, there's a new platform. Can't remember the name of it right now. But yeah, Viva Fry and Robert Barnes, Sunday evenings, they do a show, they do a live stream, and they're absolutely fantastic. So Survival asks, so Pam, what are your thoughts on Marxism? Useful idiots. Absolutely true. And most of us, unfortunately, are useful idiots in one way or another until we, get that red pill and find out what's really going on. Most of us are useful idiots. And with Marxism, it's even worse, because here it's, oh, we're uniting the people to overthrow our, tyrannical masters, and we promise that, whatever your condition of oppression, uh, you're oppressed, you're oppressed, you're oppressed, you're oppressed, you're oppressed, you're oppressed. That Akira the Don has a great song in this with Jordan Peterson. Um, and we're gonna fix all your oppression. We're gonna we're gonna take money from the rich, and we're gonna divvy it up, and we're gonna fix all your oppression. But the problem is, who gets to decide who gets fixed and how? You know, you've got to put it in somebody's hands to make those decisions. All that money pouring in, who gets to decide who gets toys for Christmas and who doesn't? And it turns into, just absolute corruption where it's, oh, you're my friend, therefore you get toys for Christmas, and I don't know you from Adam, so, go kick rocks. It's just a crazy system, and Marxism is terrible like that. And you know, it's the middle class that gets screwed. And our founding fathers figured out, you want a large middle class. That creates wealth of nations. They're, the people that create jobs. They're the ones who take the risks. Because one thing that I know growing up is if you have enough money, you don't have to obey the rules. And if you don't have any money, you can't obey the rules. And so the very rich and the very poor are actually very, very similar. It's the middle class that's different. It's the middle class that follows rules and is, extremely ethical and hardworking and everything like that. That's where you get all those, Christian values, well, not even Christian values, but just values throughout time that people have lauded. It's all in the middle class. The rich, what do they care about values of morals or anything like that? The boat can't stay out past 5 o'clock. Here's $500. The boat can stay out past 5 o'clock. It's that easy. So, the extremely rich and the extremely poor, they're so similar, including on the type of family dysfunction that they experience, um, because you get at the poor end, you get the alcoholic father, because his life is such crap that he's drinking his sorrows away. And then at the very rich end, you've got the alcoholic father who makes so much money nobody can tell him no. So he's just the same dysfunctional brute as this guy over here. um so yeah, it's amazing how that falls out. um but I have been rambling on for quite a while here, and I hope this has been educational for you all. It is now 5:30, so I'm going to go ahead and yeah, shout out to the middle class. Absolutely, shout out to the middle class. They're the ones that keep the world running. But go ahead and post any questions you have in the chat, and I'm going to give my voice a break here for a second. I didn't realize this was going to be such a hot and heavy topic for me, but this is kind of the stuff I know. My grandfather was a diplomat. One of my uncles was an ambassador. My great uncle was a U.S. congressman. And that's not to toot my own horn. I mean, Lord knows I'm on a fixed income and poor AF, but I was raised in this kind of thing. I was, for all intents and purposes, raised by wolves. And so I know how these systems work. Uh, and it's just, yeah, I wish I could be a sweet summer child sometimes. But I know the corruption that exists out there, and it's just, very sad. So, Survival says, Pam, you're only halfway. Your hair looks nice tonight. Thank you very much. I was very proud of how it turned out. I kept it up in a bun all day. And if you saw me earlier, you would have been like, woman, you ratchet. What are you doing? But no, it turned out very nice. So thank you for the compliment. I appreciate it. So, ah, so you're on the East Coast. Yeah, I'm in Mountain Time, so it's only 5:30 here. But yeah, I should say it's halfway through the hour. But Shell also said, or that was Joanne. Shell says, "You're good, Pam. I'm listening. You know a lot." Well, I'm glad I can pass it on because, um, a lot of people don't get an insight into this world or anything like that. There's very few people like me because, most people don't end up. Most people from my background don't end up disabled and with a huge honesty and integrity sort of value because we get corrupted at a young age. You're raised in that, and you don't want to suffer. You don't want to experience, how the other half lives, sort of thing. But for some reason, I was born with this very, very strong spine and, intense integrity. Integrity is extremely important to me, saying what I mean, meaning what I say. And that has, I sleep well at night. My heart is not heavy. I don't feel like I have this giant gaping hole in my soul that I need to fill with drugs or alcohol or money or any of the other thing, riches, that kind of thing. I'm just as happy, driving a Kia as I would be a Mercedes Benz, especially if the key is a stick shift. So, um, Lawrence says, Pam, I have a joke for you. Why is it a bad idea for you to get dressed with a Pokemon around? Because it might Pikachu. Oh, that is a good pun. And I remember when Pokemon came around, Pika, Pika, Pika. And I actually worked for Nintendo of America for a while, and they had the Pikachu VW Bug, and then I can't remember what the other one was, but they had a GT Cruiser that was one of the other Pokemon. So, good joke. Like it, Lawrence. A plus. So Logic says, oh, now that I remember when we were on the live with Gary that night with Pioneer Guy in the chat, what book was that about socialism that you mentioned? Oh my gosh. I'm not sure. I mean, you've got the book by Marx. I don't know the one on socialism. But socialism is a whole other thing where they try and destroy the meaning of words. And the postmodern school, the Frankfurt School, things like that. Jordan Peterson talks about the Frankfurt School a lot and how awful they are. And we're seeing a lot of the postmodern sort of destruction of the language right now. And it's politics is downstream from culture. Andrew Breitbart said that, and it's very, very true. So they went into the schools to control the culture, to control the graduates, and they're playing a long game to just destroy everything that the United States has been about, and that's kind of terrifying. So. Logic says, I completely forget the title and it's bugging the heck out of me. Yeah, me too. If I remember it. I'll send you a message on Phoenix. So yeah, everybody, if you're not already on it, Phoenix Social Network. I think everybody here is aware of Phoenix Social Network. So it's a good place so far. I have my doubts and my reservations, but I will not speak them at this time. Um, and but yeah, it's a nice alternative to Facebook. I haven't been on Facebook in over a decade after um, I realized that it was a way for the CIA to get around this domestic spying laws. People hand out their information just freely, and they don't realize how it can be used against them. Um, but and all the black site servers, I worked at a company that made servers for the black sites and things like that, and they're storing everything. I mean, they're storing this right now, and they've got these AIs that can do this kind of real time analysis sort of thing. Like one of my teachers said, oh, I don't care how much information I give them. If everybody gives them all their information, all we do is flood the system. No, they figured out a way around that. They can handle the flood now. They can drink from a fire hydrant, no problem. And they can do it in real time. Um, and so, yeah, if you don't think you're a criminal now, wait until they bring up, what V calls it internet necromancy. They bring things back from the dead, and it's changing our society in ways that nobody foresaw coming. Nobody foresaw. Well, a few people did. I mean, surprisingly, um, David Bowie saw a lot of this coming. But yeah, uh, yeah. If I remember the name of the book on socialism, um, I will give it to you. But any questions? Does anybody have anything that they want to know? Things that they were afraid to ask. Go ahead and spit them out in the chat, and I'll see, you know, what I can answer for you if possible. Oh, and a big thanks to Trey the MBD. He shouted me out. Survival mentioned my stream. So if you're here from Trey's stream, welcome. Thank you very much for being here. And yeah, the World Economic Forum, the World Health Organization, the WTO, all these world things, the UN. Don't even get me started on how bad the UN has been corrupted. And that's the thing. It's like the UN was created, after it was Eleanor Roosevelt. So it was World War One, and we're dealing with the fallout from stuff from World War One. You wouldn't. This is how long these things can resonate through the generations if people don't put a stop to them. And if you don't know, you can't put a stop to it. So hopefully, I can let you guys know a few things. Check out the World Economic Forum's webpage. It's absolutely terrifying. Um, I mean, on the surface, it all looks like, feel good sort of, oh, we're saving the planet. Oh, we're saving humanity. Oh, we're saving this. We're saving that. No, no, you're not. These are all Trojan horses, to take over our lives. These are all Trojan horses to destroy the middle class, to destroy, property ownership, to destroy things that, from the Magna Carta. We're talking about hundreds and hundreds of years of legal precedent that they just want to throw out the window because they're pissed that they're not kings and queens. Um, and that's what a lot of people on the front line don't understand. Read about the Soviet Union and the purges. That read about Nazi Germany and those purges. Who do they kill? Chinese, same thing. You kill off your philosophers. You kill off all your creative people. You kill off those people that were part of the revolution that think that they are owed something for throwing a successful revolution. They just kill them all once they get in power. Once you hand the power over to these people, do you think they're going to use it in a way that is, generous or kind or any of that. That's why the founding fathers put in checks and balances and divided up the power and things like that, is so it couldn't be hoarded. Because, once you get a tyrant in, it is really hard to get them out. So, Survival says, I think Trump did the right thing to pull out of the Paris Accord agreement. Absolutely. Absolutely. We would have paid so much money. China would have paid nothing, and China is the big polluter. You know, stop recycling your plastic. All right, let me tell you that right now. Stop recycling your plastic. Put it in the trash. Do not put it in the recycling bin, because we ship our plastic recyclables to China, and then China just dumps them in the ocean. It's not recycled at all. There's no money in recycling plastic. So, of course, you know, that's what's been going on, and they're the ones polluting the oceans and everything else. So, stop recycling your plastic. Just throw it in the trash. Here's a good series to watch: Penn and Teller's Bullshit. And I usually don't swear, but that's the name of the series. And look at their episode on recycling, and it will blow your mind, because this was long before virtue signaling was a term on the internet. And they found out that people will put 10 trash cans out in front of their house to virtue signal to their neighbors about how good they are about taking care of the environment. And if you have that many bins lined up in front of your house, everybody knows that you're a good citizen and you recycle. But recycling actually doubles the carbon footprint. Sure, glass is the number one recyclable. We can recycle that 100%, no problem. After that is metals. That's why, if you go to a recycling center that pays for these things, they will actually pay you for your glass and your metal. They will not pay you for paper, because it actually takes more money or more resources and energy to recycle paper than it is to just grow trees over and over and over again that we harvest just like a wheat crop. And then plastics are completely useless. So stop recycling your plastics. Go and watch Penn and Teller's Bullshit. Landfills get covered up and turned into golf courses. We're not going to run out of landfills. All of these things out of the 70s that they told us was just nonsense. So, Logic Rex asked Pam, do you think the start of businesses refusing cash is also part of the plan, like a cashless society? Absolutely. Absolutely. And one of the things, everybody talks about, money printer go brrr. Well, not really. They don't have to print money anymore. It's all done electronically. So this is all done by the banks right now. And all they do is they send ones and zeros across a line, and there you go, $2 trillion, $3 trillion, whatever. It's all done electronically. And if you go to a cashless society and you're not carrying cash, how easy it is for them to just turn off your account. Let's look at what MasterCard did to Sargon of Akkad. Well, I'm sorry, you can't process your payments anymore. What Bank of America has done to a number of people. I'm sorry, you can't have an account here anymore. That sort of thing. So yeah, a cashless society is really, really a dangerous thing, and I don't like it. I don't like it at all. So Logic says, laugh out loud. Brrr. Yeah, money printer go brrr. So, yeah, and it's sad and scary that there are a lot of conspiracy theories out there that are just conspiracy theories. It's a whole bunch of tinfoil hat wearing nonsense, but then some of it is absolutely spot on. So, speaking of which, Logic Rest says, okay, officially freaked out and grabbing my tinfoil hat again. Yep, that tinfoil hat is not a bad thing. And yeah, Sargon is awesome. He is. I'm looking forward to his new channel once he gets it up and running. And oh my gosh, the case that he won against what's her name? Something probably with the whole fair use, and yeah, that whole court case was just hilarious to watch. So, Alita, something like that. But so yeah, Sargon gets it. And I feel very, very sorry for the UK because they thought that Boris was going to be, another Trump, and Boris is now using the phrase "Build Back Better." So, he's sold out to the globalist plan. Yeah, what's another one? Barricade Garage. He's hysterical. He does a lot of shows on this, and he didn't believe me on the Build Back Better a few months ago when I mentioned it to him. And now he's doing videos on it. So kind of a little feather in my cap there. Uh, Shell says, Pam, I just bought a book, The Dignity Revolution by Daniel Darling. Have you ever heard of him? No, I haven't. But that sounds like a cool title, and I'd be interested in that. Let me know what you think. And yeah, one of the things that I want to do is I want to do sort of book reviews and movie reviews. If you guys haven't seen it already, I'm hoping that Hood does this as one of his movie nights. I'm looking forward. He's got a 1984 movie night, and he's also doing They Live back to back. So that's going to be fantastic. And one of the things that I want him to do is Colin Quinn's Unconstitutional, because it's absolutely hilarious, and it's a great way to get, sort of a history of the founding of our nation, and everything that's happened up to modern times. He starts it out 4 pages. That's how long the Constitution is. 4 pages, and nobody has the time to read it. It's like, it's so true. It's so true. So, oh, cool. You know about Barricade Garage too, Logic Rex? He says he loves Barricade Garage. Yeah, that dude does a lot with the cell phone. I mean, that's some top-notch comedy there. So, all right. And we are a little less than a quarter away from the top of the hour. So if you've got any more questions, as I say, if you want to pick up either the C-SPAN presentation or his book, either one, The Pentagon's New Map. If you don't want to spend money on it, completely understand, go to the library or something like that. But he laid out the globalist plan, 20 years ago, and sure as sugar, we're in it. So, and yeah, I'm going to go through the comments from the video yesterday to figure out tomorrow night's topic. I don't know what it is yet, but it should be very interesting. And yeah, Logic, he is hilarious. He is hilarious. So, oh yeah, like, share, comment, subscribe. Thank you for being in the chat tonight. And oh, Praying Mantis is in. Dude, you missed it. You missed it. Oh my gosh, you're going to have to go back and watch it, because I don't think I can repeat everything that I did in the first 45 minutes. Got to show up on time next time. Sit you in the corner and put a dunce cap on you. But yeah, time and time again, those who have the gold make the rules. So beware of those who have the gold. It's just, oh, good. Praying Mantis says that he will, I think it's a he, will show up on time next time. So glad. But yeah, if anybody has any questions, I mean, like, Europe is being destroyed by China, by the One Belt, One Road. If you want to look at, Joshua Phillips of Crossroads, that's another one if you want to find out about China. ADV, is another. Those guys actually toured through China and had to flee China as a result of touring through China and exposing things that the Chinese Communist Party didn't want exposed. So those guys are good. And then, oh, praying mantis is a woman. Oh, fantastic. Did not know that. So, well, I should have guessed with the praying mantis thing. Do you bite the head off your lovers too? I'm just kidding. So, yeah, praying mantis says, I love you guys. I love you all too. You're fantastic. I have one of the best audiences out there. You guys are so kind. You're so kind to me. You're kind to each other. It's a beautiful thing. Um, your interest in this kind of stuff, because I see you on the other channels that are out there. Shout out to the hood conservatives, or hood conservatives, or whatever you want to call them. I mean, this is how you know that people are waking up. And thank God, I mean, they did not know the monster that they were unleashing when they unleashed the internet. And now they're trying to put the genie back in the bottle, and they can't. They really can't, you know. And so many people are waking up. There are a lot of smart people out there that aren't in positions of power and aren't in, high up in the corporate ladder or anything like that. And these people get it. They get it. And that's what keeps me off the black pills, is that, there's so many people out there that, I mean, I was in a CVS in Albuquerque, and this was like right after, this was when Vault 7 and all that stuff came out about the CIA, the seventh floor. And I was talking about it to the guy I was hanging around with at the time, and this soccer mom in front of us started talking about it too. And I was like, I never would have guessed that she would have been in and, savvy to this type of information. But there it was, just regular people, and we're waking up. And so we do have a fighting chance if we knew about this stuff. So survival, oh, bless your heart. Pam brings the wisdom. I thank you. I thank you. I'm just happy to spread it around. So, and praying mantis agrees with an indeed. So, bless your hearts. Bless your hearts. Yeah, and there are a lot of resources out there to get yourself educated, to stay on top of this and understand the machinations that are going on behind the scenes. I mean, and speaking of machinations, that word comes from the name Machiavelli, who wrote The Prince. And if you want to understand, government corruption, you can check out Machiavelli's The Prince. And yeah, it's the same stuff that's been going on for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years. And it's why the apocalyptic literature in the Bible still rings true today, because it's the same corruption. Human beings haven't really evolved much in 30,000, 70,000 years, something like that. I mean, we really, really haven't changed that much. Our brain structures haven't changed that much. And so it's the same old games, the same old, naughtiness, the same old sins, all of that still going on. So, that's why Shakespeare, we can still understand Shakespeare hundreds of years later. That's why we can, the Bible still resonates and everything like that, because it's the same stuff. We haven't changed. As sophisticated as we are, there will be flying cars, and it will be the same corruption. So, which one is that you recommend, Praying Mantis? She says, I read that, I recommend it. So which one is that? So I've rattled off a few book names now. But yeah, beware the globalists. Beware those that have the gold. They want to take over the world. I mean, the old Tears for Fears song, everybody wants to rule the world. It's so true. It's so true. The Prince. Yes. So Machiavelli's The Prince. Read that. And yeah, it talks about no need to apologize. Um, it talks about the way that you, come on, work now, uh, corrupt government officials. There's several ways to corrupt government officials. And yeah, once you have a few government officials in your pocket, you get to make policy. Those policies, get to set you at an advantage and get to set your adversaries at a disadvantage. Um, Same old game, same old game. So we got about 4 minutes left. 4 minutes. Oh, oh. Any questions? Any last questions? Wow, this hour flew by. This is a lot of fun. Thank you to Survival for recommending this topic. Um, it's been a good time. It's been a good hour. So, Logic Rex says, it may be a negative thought, but I do believe us humans have reached the pinnacle of our intelligence in the average level. So many sheep. Maybe. Maybe. I'm not sure. There's a lot of work that's going on with tapping the potential of the brain, the type of neurological studies that are going on, neurological psychology, things like that, discovering, where these circuits came from and what we can do with them. And Elon Musk is an absolute idiot if he thinks that he can connect us to machines, especially if it's any sort of implanted device that has metal in it, because I can tell you right now, as a person who has had an implanted device, you eliminate the ability to get an MRI at that point. And who the hell wants their brain to get hacked? I'm sorry. Let's make sure that there are a few more levels of security before we go that route, maybe. I don't know. People, my mother was commenting that people that work in computers and work in code think that they understand the world because they understand code, and it's the arrogance and the hubris is hysterical sometimes, and that's what makes Dilbert so funny. So yeah, the people are waking up. Survival, they absolutely are waking up. And we have the internet to thank for that. DARPANET, what we built to survive a nuclear holocaust. And I remember in 1995 when they opened it up, it used to be universities, so students had access to it. And then, it was anybody with a computer had access to it. And then everybody got a smartphone and got access to it. And so, yeah, they can't put the genie back in the bottle, thank God. So, praying mantis. Oh, hold on. Logic Rex says, in the context of the government being successful in dumbing down the average citizen, like with the MSM, but the MSM is dying. I mean, so many people get their news off of YouTube these days. They're not watching television. It's the old school people that don't understand the internet, or don't have the time to be bothered with the internet and aren't savvy to it. But I mean, Gen X, we were raised with computers. I remember programming BASIC on an Atari 800 when I was 5 years old. Yeah, and so it's one of those things that we've been immersed in it, and kids even younger than me, all you guys have it a lot easier because you were raised with the internet. I didn't have the internet. I remember what it was like to have a phone on the wall, and the dial-up noise, and you couldn't use the phone and the computer at the same time, sort of thing. And it's changed so much in such a short amount of time, that I think is, where we're going to see the breakthroughs that keep everybody free. So, Survival says, I don't think Pam knows about this gang. Pam gang. We got a Pam gang going on, huh? Okay. Pam's peeps. Something like that. I don't know. I'm just playing around. But we are at the top of the hour. So thank you everyone for being here. Praying Mantis. I apologize, but the replay, YouTube takes its time, so it will be up tomorrow. Be sure to catch it. I think you will find it very interesting. And yeah, smash the like button on your way out. And I will, yeah. Oh, technology should be my next topic. I don't know. I might be able to do technology. We'll see it. Let's see if I can do that because there's so much in it. I mean, it used to be you could know about technology and you knew technology. But now it's like the field of law, you can go into all sorts of different aspects of technology. But yeah, I think I could do an hour on technology. So anyway, yes, Shell, thank you very much. She says, great show again, Pam. I hope to bring it to you. I want you to bring the goods. So yeah, you all have a good night. Thank you so much for being here. Love you all, and I will see you tomorrow.